I'm Christine White in the Beats Incorporated studio. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are happy to have found my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. You can even hit the bell to the right of subscribe and you'll receive notifications every time I come out with a new video. Today we are going to be making a basic basket wrap, or a basic basket wrap made out of wire. So this is a great way to make your favorite sentimental piece into something that you can wear, whether it's a shell or a piece of sea glass or a shark's tooth, or just maybe a stone that you want to enhance and add a little bit of detail to. So materials that you'll need to create this technique are 22 gauge craft wire, wire cutters, chain nose pliers or flat nose pliers, bail making pliers, and a bead or object of your choice. Begin by cutting approximately 3 to 4 wires, at least 1.5 feet or so in length. I've chosen to cut 4. I feel like that gives me a little bit more to work with when I set my stone down into my basket wrap, and you'll see that all come together in a moment. And then I'm going to cut 3 smaller wires, and these can all be just a few inches long. I'm going to take my first smaller wire and I'm going to bundle together my 4 longer wires just by doing a nice tight wrap in the very center. Snip off my excess on either side. I want to wrap about 4 to 5 times. You can obviously get very creative with this and more in depth. I'm going to flatten that wrap and it's really going to hold securely to the 4 wires that we're bundling. Next, I'm going to move about 1 inch to this side and do the same thing. Wrap about 3 or 4 times, nice and tight, and then snip off our excess on each side. Tighten and flatten that wrap, and then just 1 more, about 1 inch to the other side. So we're spacing these little wraps out all by about 1 inch. No one got away from me, just move it down a little bit. And then snip here and here. Flatten that. So it doesn't look like much right now, but this is where you're going to see it kind of start to take shape. I'm going to use my flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers, and even if you have one that has a little bit of a tooth to it, right now is a good place to use it because it helps you grip on that wire. Just be careful to not mark up your wire too much. So I'm going to start to separate the different wires in my bundle here. Pulling these apart, really finding the center there. And you can be as artistic as you like about the ways that you pull them apart. Do the same thing on this end. Pull this apart here and here. And then here and here. Now I'm going to use this kind of matte gray agate piece and set it down in my basket. So the bottom of my matte gray agate is going to go right here at my center wrap. And then I'm going to have really strong hands here, and I'm going to curve these sections of my basket wrap around either the corners of what you're working with or just the bottom section in general. Because keep in mind, you want to really form that basket around your piece. Pulling these other sections up near the top, capturing all the corners. When we get to the top, you want to crisscross all of these wires. And there's not really a specific way to do this because it might be different on every stone. So you want to just make sure that you're bringing all of your sections together, and it doesn't have to be perfect because this will ultimately get covered up. So I've got my shorter pieces, or my one side wrapped around the other side. Sorry, that'll ultimately be our shorter pieces versus our longer pieces. And then I can cut off my extra with our wire cutters. And I might choose to just kind of smooth that out with a chain nose plier. So now I want to make sure that my basket is really secure to the stone or piece that I'm working with. And this is where I can have some fun too. I'm going to use my flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers and grab those corners and just kind of pull down on them and make a little bit of like a twist or a little bit of a design here in my wire. And you can really start to feel that wire tighten up against our stone. Make sure to do it in the bottom corners. So we've kind of created this nice wire wrap and bezel around our stone. Next, we want to make a bail so that we can create a piece of jewelry out of what we're working with. So I'm using bail making pliers. So it's a really kind of heavy duty round nose plier. You can also use a round nose plier if that's what you have at home or you don't have access to a bail making plier. I'm going to hold this right above the top of that wrap right here and wrap this away from us and back towards us, coming up under the round nose plier or bail making plier, and then just twist this around itself until you get your desired fullness or until you've really covered up all of that twisting in there. I've seen people get really creative with these tails that are left over, but in my case, I'm just going to snip them off. There we go, our wires went flying. I'm gonna smooth out my little edges there. And there is my pendant. So it is ready to go on a chain or a leather cord or be made into a beautiful piece of jewelry. So hopefully that gives you some ideas about things that you can turn into jewelry that you never thought that you could before. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and be sure to check out all of my other jewelry making tutorials.